Welcome, fellow humans. Today I'm going to talk about how I don't have a dessert stomach. You may have heard of the idea of a dessert stomach, which is that after you've eaten your dinner and you're full, if somebody offers you dessert, you'll suddenly have some more appetite and room for dessert. This seems to be mainly based on the idea of what's called sensory-specific satiety, which is the idea that when you eat a bunch of the same flavor, you start to get bored of it and you're less motivated to keep eating. And then if you're offered a different flavor, then your body goes, ooh, I want some of that, and it's interested in having that new and a little bit more exciting flavor. There seems to be a reasonable amount of support for the idea of sensory-specific satiety, but I haven't personally noticed it applying to me. When I was a child, my parents would sometimes take me out to a restaurant that had a bunch of ice cream options for dessert, with the expectation that I could have ice cream for dessert once I finished my dinner. There were several times where I ate my dinner, and then I was told, okay, you can have dessert now, and I just kind of thought about it and went, but I'm full now. I don't want ice cream when I'm full. I like ice cream. I was excited about getting to have dessert, but I wanted it when I had appetite. And so I decided, well, I'm just not going to have any dessert because I don't have any room for it anymore. After this had happened to me several times, it occurred to me that there was a way to fix the problem. So one time when we went out for dinner, I asked my father, can I just have dessert first? And he thought for a moment and kind of shrugged and was like, sure, if you want to. And so I ordered my dessert and then my dinner. And the waitress actually checked with my parents to see if it was okay for me to have my dessert first. I was probably around 9 years old at the time, and I always looked small and young for my age, so I wasn't too surprised about that. But when my parents cleared it, she was fine with it, and I got to have my dessert and then eat as much of my dinner as I actually had appetite for. I was thinking about why other people seem to generally have this extra room for dessert, although not everybody, and I don't. And I think it might be based on two factors. One, while I do like some foods, and as a kid I definitely liked and wanted that ice cream, it was very satisfying when I got to actually have my dessert instead of being cheated out of it because I was too full yet again. But despite that, I've never been very food motivated. I've never been that motivated by my food being tasty. I prefer tasty food, it's definitely a plus, but I mainly eat so that I won't be hungry, and I've been very motivated by not feeling hungry. And the other factor is that I've always been very sensitive to overeating, especially as a child. I would get very bad stomach aches if I ate too much, and the pain was, in most cases, a very good motivation to not eat too much. And so I didn't want to push myself to eat when I wasn't hungry because, as tasty as the ice cream was, lying around in pain for the evening would not have made it worthwhile. I don't know how common dessert stomachs are, what percentage of people seem to have one and what percentage don't, and I'm kind of curious about that. But since sensory-specific satiety seems to be an accepted concept in the field of psychology, it is a little weird that I don't seem to have as much personal experience with it. I can't say for sure that I don't experience it, and I probably do have a milder version of it at least, but I don't have that clear, I have room for dessert that they talk about. Anyway, that's my story, and if you liked it, please click like, and if you'd like more similar content, then subscribe. If you know someone who might find it interesting, then share, but most of all, I would love to read your comments, either about this, or about how these videos are making me have to learn how to say words like palilalia and satiety, because it's been a bit of a challenge. Anyway, thank you.